In 1863, during the height of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln issued the historic Emancipation Proclamation, freeing all slaves within the Union States. This proclamation was one of the most important decisions during the Civil War. The move would boost war morale in the northern states while also providing hope for African Americans in the southern states to rebel and head up north. The move also allowed African Americans to join the military, which many would do to help fight for Southern blacks' freedom. This critical decision would help the Union secure victory, and on April 9th of 1865, the war was effectively over. Following the conclusion of the bloodiest war in American history, Congress would begin working on three crucial amendments to secure the rights of African Americans, including former slaves. The first of these amendments was the 13th, which abolished slavery entirely and turned the Emancipation Proclamation into an official, nationwide law. The amendment was first proposed by House Republican James Ashley towards the end of 1863. In a similar fashion, Senator John Henderson endorsed the amendment in early 1864, officially putting the amendment through both parts of the legislative branch. While the Senate would have an easy time passing it, the House had a much harder time. Votes to pass the amendment to the states failed multiple times, and it wouldn't be until early 1865 that the House would finally come to an agreement. After that, it became a matter of getting a majority 3/4 vote among the states, which was 27 at the time. While progress initially seemed to go by quickly, it would slow following the assassination of Abraham Lincoln on April 15th of the same year. Fortunately, through a relentless push from President Andrew Johnson, the amendment would eventually pass on December 6, 1865, when Georgia became the 27th and final state needed to ratify the amendment into the Constitution. Following the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment was also proposed to give rights to all races. It gave the qualifications for U.S. citizenship, which is something that is especially relevant today. The amendment also declared that everyone had equal protection under the law, meaning that, in a perfect happy world, African Americans at the time would be treated the same as whites in the court systems. The amendment was first proposed on June 14, 1966 by Congressman John A. Bingham in the House before quickly being passed to the states 2 days later. In just a little over 2 years, the law was ratified by the necessary 28 out of 37 majority on July 9, 1868. Which, being frank here, this is actually a really fast time for an amendment to be passed, boosted mainly by the Reconstruction efforts from the North and South under Johnson. The third and final amendment passed between 1865 and 1870. The 15th Amendment gave all colored men aged 21 and above the right to vote, for the most part. It passed through Congress on February 26, 1869, before being ratified by the states less than a year later, on February 4th of 1870. While there were many ways that the prejudiced communities prevented African Americans from voting, this amendment was one of the biggest and most important steps to allowing African Americans to have proper congressional representation. It is important to note that the law still excluded women of all races, including white, from voting, and most Native Americans still did not have the right to vote due to the citizenship laws at the time. While these amendments were extremely important to fighting racial prejudice, they weren't perfect. The 13th Amendment had exceptions of slavery and servitude when it came to the legal system, leading many biased courts in the southern states to falsely convict many African American citizens and forcing them into unpaid labor as punishment. Since it was also the 1800s, the lack of literacy education for slaves combined with the slow communication methods at the time meant that many slave owners simply did not tell their slaves that they were now free, leading to many African Americans being exploited for years to come. The 14th and 15th Amendments also had issues too. In the 1890s, many southern states would enact Jim Crow laws, which operated under the ideology of separate but not equal. This led to segregation, and it included laws that prevented many African Americans from voting, such as poll taxes and literacy tests. Many courts at the time were also rather biased and did not actually treat African Americans equally under the law, leading to many false convictions and cruel punishments. However, while they had their flaws, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments still created the base for the civil rights movements for decades to come. Thanks for watching.